Hello everyone, my name is Brandy. I'm the Hunter-Proof Quilter and this is my quilting corner. Oh my goodness, last week was so rough. I had to go pick up my little sister and by the time I got home it was 2 p.m. and I hadn't slept, and so that's why I had to cancel our live. I'm so sorry about that. It was just a rough week. I wanted to go live later, but catching up on my sleep sometimes is just, I swear I don't never get enough sleep sometimes. Still trying to find a position at work that's a day shift. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Anyways, so today, many of you know that I am doing the Legit Kits block of the month. Now, I haven't been extremely confident in my ability to do that during a live because, as you all know, when it comes to, hi Brenda, when it comes to measuring and all that stuff, I get a little sidetracked when we're live. But we're going to do that. So I have months 1 and 2. Hi, Katie. I have months 1 and 2 up on the wall. I'll show you that in a second. But this is my light board. A friend of mine loaned it to me. She has a large one, and this is her small one. It's not quite big enough. I wish I had a bigger one, but it works. And these are all the tools that I use for my Legit Kits piecing. So what I have is I have the add a quarter, which I use for the larger pieces, but there are very, very tiny pieces in the Legit Kits, and I use the add an eighth for those. It cuts down on the bulk in some of the seams. We always have our handy dandy divorce lawyer. This one I actually got from Power Tools with Thread. Her husband Keith does these. I think this is gorgeous, but it's got, my husband calls it, hi Shirley. My husband calls it a divorce lawyer with an attitude because it has a stiletto on the other end. So that is my other tool. Then I use this to help me measure some of the pieces when I'm cutting. So I'll put it on the light board and then I use this and go around it so that I get an indentation of where I need to cut. My other camera is a little slow today, so I'll do an indentation of where I need to cut. Then of course my rotary cutter and my scissors. Both of them are my Tula pink ones. Then I have a glue stick I usually use for the very first piece. And then I have my acorn pressing pin that I use for the seams. I also prep my fabric and I use my best press. I prep all my fabric before I start any of the piecing at all. I'll prep all of it. I'll starch all of it. And they give plenty of fabric. As a matter of fact, when I started block 2, I was using some of the scraps from block 1 because I don't want to cut into fresh fabric pieces before I've used up the other fabric. I mean, it seems crazy to be cutting into new fabric when I still have plenty of the other fabric that's going to work just fine. So now that I'm on block 3, I still use pieces from block 1 to do block 3. So they give you plenty of fabric for your piecing. So this is months 1 and 2. Now, the only papers I took out were the little pieces that were in his right here, because those are pieces I am never going to get out later. I have some issues. I didn't quite get even right here, and no matter how hard I tried, I could not even that up. I don't know why, but I figure once he's all put together, you probably won't even notice that. So get that back up there. So I kept the bottom papers in and all around for connecting later. Now on month 3, I always do the big pieces first. So on month 3, I of course got the large sea backgrounds done. And I've started getting parts of his turtle parts. A lot of the dark greens this time, which we hadn't worked with prior. It was mostly rainbow colors. So these are all the larger pieces. And the main thing, like you'll see, which one is it? Is it this one right here? I don't quite have all the fabric right there, but it doesn't matter because that is going to be in my seam allowance, and here's where we stitch. So it's not going to be any big deal. And I have no idea. Oh, I remember what I did. I was trimming something else and that was folded and it trimmed with it. It was folded. It was folded sideways and I trimmed. And when I brought it back up, I was like, oh man. But because I knew it was in the seam allowance, I wasn't that worried. So those are the pieces we have together. This is what this month's block looks like. And so mainly the pieces I've gotten together are right here and right here are all the pieces that we've done. So next we have these pieces to do. And so those pieces, so when I get the block, I cut them all up and I put them in sections of size. And then the sizes I break up and do. This one's only has 2 fabrics, so I'm going to do that one. This one has this size and it's 2 fabrics, and I'm going to do that one until all my big pieces are done. So these are the next small pieces, and then these are the tiny pieces. And when I say tiny, where's one of my tiniest ones? That is some of the tiny pieces. I think that measures. That one is just it's less than 1/4. It's an 1/8. That piece is an 1/8. Hi, Kathy. So yeah, tiny, tiny, tiny. I'm not sure how that one got in there because that one is literally just one color. That whole block is just one color. So they are kind of tiny. So when I first started doing it, I was like, there is no way I can put this together during a live. I'm going to mess that up so much. And my first couple of blocks, I had some trouble with the way some of these lie, especially when they go on a corner. And so sometimes it will piece weird. Like if you look, some of the way these piece, you're like, how am I supposed to get that piece to lay? Like this is piece number 1, but this one's piece number 2, and then this tiny one over here is piece number 3. And I was like, so it took me a minute. Hi, Lisa. It took me a minute to figure out how those piece. And so now that we're to month 3, I'm a little more confident in how it works. So we're going to work on the larger of the little ones. We're going to put that one that's just one piece of fabric all by itself because that's just silly. I didn't even notice that. So I have like pieces of fabric laying everywhere behind me here. So these are all the pieces that I haven't even cut into because I used scraps from the other 2 months. And they have them Hi, Nancy. And these letterings tell you what fabric goes where. But these are all pieces that I haven't cut into because I had excess of the first 2 months. And these, all of these are excess from the first month that I cut into. So all of this is the fabric that they sent that I haven't cut into because I still had all of this left. So I set that aside to not even use. I need to get back to the Vortex kit. Oh, yes. I mean, I'm having a blast with it. And then, of course, darn expensive, too. This is true. So that's why I chose to do the block of the month, because it was more budget friendly for me, because I could not afford to buy one of their kits outright. There's just no way. I did win a kit. I won the mini rose at my retreat. And actually somebody else won it who hates foundation paper piecing. She's just not into it. And so I won a strip ruler set, and I have my Accuquilt strip rulers, my Accuquilt strip cutter. And so I was like, I said something to her about her winning this, and she's like, I'll trade you. And I was like, that's a deal for me. So I'm going to start this, but I'm not sure when. So let's get all this off of there. Where is LM? So that is lime. So I just see if I can, like, this one fits right in here. Let's see. I'll just go this way, make sure it fits. And when I said that I use this is what I mean. And it cuts an outline. I don't know what's wrong with my other camera today. So I don't know how well you can see it, but it cut a little bit of an outline for me. Oops. And so that's where I'll cut. Sitting here crocheting, going to see about rearranging my sewing room tomorrow. Doesn't seem to work right. I understand that. So on that front, y'all know that I've been in this tiny little corner forever. My husband was online looking at furniture for his office the other day. So we're getting close to him moving to the spare room. And that piece is done. So there's nothing to do until we're attaching it to another piece. So I'm going to put a pin in it, even though I put glue on it, just to keep that piece from going anywhere. We're going to put that over there. All right. So I'm going to put some glue on here. All right. So then I'm going to go through here and I'm going to grab the next largest piece. And we're just going to start going to town. So we got LM again. We've got 2 RAs, which is behind me. Let's see. We've got a JN. Let's see what scraps we have over here. That's in let's see. None of those scraps are going to work. Oh. Do I not have any more of that? Let's see. This is what I've got left of RA. I've been using it for 3 months. So I am rearranging and organizing, but I always end up putting it right back where I started. Deborah says I'm going to try and learn timbre embroidery. What is timbre embroidery? What's different from regular embroidery? I don't know much about embroidery. So none of this that I have left is, well, wait. That piece right there is going to work. Let's make sure. Let's see. Does that cover all of it? It sure does. So we're just going to cut this off right there. I used every bit of scrap I can. And because some of these pieces are small, I try my very, very hardest to use every little possible piece I can. Okay, so there's that. Oh, there's 2 pieces of that. Oh, look at that. So that little piece will fit right there. Uses special needles, makes chains to start. Cool. Okay, so we have a really long piece right here. We're going to use that right there. Put that back there. It does sound interesting. I'm going to have to Google that when we get done, because now I want to know what it is. Okay, there's that. And now we just need lime, which is just right up here. So we're going to see if we can use this little corner up here. And that will work. Let's see. We're just going to cut this like this. Work. That works. Okay. I seem to be jack of many crafts, but master of none. Hey, there is no harm in that. Be creative wherever you can be. Let's see. So we're going to trim up this just so that I don't get confused what the crap I'm doing here. There we go. We're going to trim that up again. You know, I still have all my scrapbooking stuff, and I don't think I have touched any of my scrapbooking stuff in forever. But we have a place called Trove. Now I may have trimmed it too much. No, there we go. That's enough. Trove. I remember, I gotta remember what it's called. But she takes donations for of crafts and she resells them. And I'm thinking of taking her some of my scrapbooking stuff. Just because it's sitting in a drawer and I haven't used it in I don't know how long. There we go. Okay. And that's actually number 1. So we are going to throw those in my little basket there. And put this over here. I tried embroidery and it wasn't for me. My fingers didn't like it. Gave it all to my daughter. I do beading, tatting, crocheting, sewing bags and clothes. I do sewing and embroidery and trying FPP and EPP. So I know how to crochet, but it's never been a real thing for me. I'll tell you this little story here. I have a baby blanket that I started for my first grandchild when my daughter was pregnant. It's beautiful. I mean, it looks great. I know how to do it. I know all the steps and can make all the different. I can do quite a bit with it. When I was a teenager, I really liked to do it. I could do the little witch's broom ones. I had a larger. Anyways, you had 3 pieces, 5 pieces, and then you crocheted onto them, and it made almost like a fan. I can do some pretty intricate things with crocheting, but I've never been since, I guess I outgrew it. Anyways, back to the story about my grandchild. That crocheted blanket is sitting in a box, not finished. It's almost finished, but I never quite finished it. Do you want to know how old she is right now? She is 13, coming out to visit us soon. I am going to teach her how to crochet and let her finish her baby blanket. That's my plan. I do beadwork. Now that I do beadwork. I make earrings. I FPP, EPP, quilt. I haven't really done any embroidery, not hand embroidery. I cross stitch. I have started some machine embroidery that's for applique, so just some blanket stitches around stuff. I paint. I can't say that I am very good about it. Hi, Kelly. What else do I do? I refurbish jewelry boxes. I think that's it. I'm ready for my first great grandchild. That is so true. And this is true. Yeah. I can't think of anything else. I said the beading. Painting. Now my father is an amazing artist. Me, not so much. But he is amazing. My mom, she could crochet. And she loved it. Okay, so this is where the little Adenate really comes in handy because it just trims off and it trims down the bulk. So it is much more, I don't know where I was going with that. Okay, so, and then my second block is in this tiny little corner. So we're going to flip that like that. And we're going to go this way. We're going to trim. All right. And our tiny little block is this one. I have taken my sewing machine, and it is my stitch is down to, instead of 2.5, which is what I think it's what its standard is. I have dropped my stitch length down to 1.5. And then we are going to sew from here to here. Just right here between 1 and 2. And I just make sure that I match those up right there where I just trimmed, so that I have a nice good seam right there. I drop that down right on this line there, and I sew right across. Then I get I'm going to trim up this little hair right here. I get my little acorn pressing pin. Ooh, I just refilled it, so it's got some good juice. I go right along the little seam line there. I fold the fabric over. So I put the acorn pressing pin on. I don't know why my camera's taking so long. I take it over to the ironing, and I iron that little seam flat. It just irons it flat. I fell off for a second there. So see how flat that seam is? It is, I don't know if you can tell how flat that is. Let's see. Let me see if I can get this at an adjusted angle. So that seam is flat. So between the add 8 and that acorn pressing pin, that seam is as flat as that paper. I love those rulers. Mine is yellow. Oh yeah. Best things in the foundation paper piecing business. There's not much to trim here. Still recovering from the family reunion and the granddaughter's graduation in PA. Hubby and grandson are talking about a trip to Mount Rushmore. Not a spring chicken anymore. Shaking my head. So yeah, though I understand that. Okay, so the next one is the other piece of RA, which is this one. Mine are add a quarter, not so. This is my add a quarter. It's pink. Hi, Bella. How are you? Oh, thanks for coming over. Yeah, I was over on Jamie's live the other day. Was it her live the other day that I was at? Yeah, I think it was her live the other day. This one is an add an 8, and I use it for just the small pieces for my foundation paper piecing. I still use this one for the big pieces, and for my basic foundation paper piecing that I do, this is what I use the most. But for those tiny pieces, this has become a lifesaver. And I got this tip from the boozy quilter. Her name is Amy. She's the one that was talking about how this is what she uses for the small blocks. And so I bought one, and I think it has made the difference. I think that's why this bottom block here that I was pointing at, that I got a little off track. I think that's why that one is messed up like it is because it has too much bulk in it. So when I put it together, it didn't line up right. Because ever since I started using this one, all my pieces have lined up. All my little pieces have lined up perfectly. So for legit kits. Tiny pieces. Hi, Katie. How are you? So definitely, if you're doing legit kits, I highly suggest add an 1/8 for the small pieces. It'll change your life. At least it did mine. Now where were we? Oh, we are on piece 3. And so that fits. How did that fit? Right there. So we're going to bring that over here. And we're going to drop the pressure foot and we're going to go to town. And that's the other thing. I just have to pay attention to that line while I'm sewing. I definitely can't look up at the chat and see what everybody's talking about while I'm sewing, because that'd not be a good thing. And that did not cut my strings like it was supposed to. My throat sounds a little scratchy. I don't know what's going on there. Now, we missed a little bit right here, but I'm not worried about that because we are still within our seam allowance. But get our little acorn pressing pin. Hi, Andrea. How are you? Get that. And then fold it over and take it over to the iron. Oh, of course, I threw my ruler over in my little ironing space. That's the problem with only having a little tiny corner is. And so if you look, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Oh, it's not going to work for you. I don't know if you can tell, but we've met all of our little lines. So everything is inside of the lines that we need it to be in. Even this little piece, even though we missed this little corner, it is still within our seam allowance. So when we go to put it together, it's not going to be a big deal. So now we're going to fold over this line. And right there, I really don't think I'm going to have anything to trim. Tiny, tiny bit. I love finding other GA folks on here. Yeah, that's great. That's how I feel when I get on other lives and somebody's there from Oklahoma. I'm like, hey. Let's quite have that one pulled over. There we go. All right. Okay, so the last one is this dark green one. And it will go up here like this. And then and so this is what I'm talking about with weird shapes. Because of the angle that it's at, I have to be careful about how I put it on, because when it folds over, it needs to be able to cover everything. So there were a couple pieces that I cut weird at the beginning, and I was like, why is this not covering? That's not shape, but I had put it on wrong, or, you know, because solids, there's no right side, so you can flip it here or there. And so that covers. But because it's an odd piece, you got to make sure it's going to flip over and catch that other side. It's just weird. Because these are such odd shapes, it just took me a second to figure it out. I love to crochet. I don't know how to knit, but would love to learn to knit. I don't know how to knit either. That's just not something I ever learned. I think it sounds cool. Knit one, purl two. I think that sounds awesome. But I've never learned that one. I just love how flat that is. Okay, so that is all done. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to flip this ruler this way so that it's flat. And we are going to trim everything right up to this gray line. Ooh, I don't know what's going on with my internet. I keep getting a blank screen. Are you guys getting a blank screen over there? Okay. All right. So we're just going to trim this up. I forgot, I do FPP, embroidery, latch hook, diamond art, and much more. Diamond art. So that's another one that I thought would be interesting to try. I haven't yet because as it stands, you know, I have my sewing and stuff sewing in here. My paints are in the garage. My cross stitch and beads are in the living room. My Accuquilt cutter is in the hallway. My Cricut, oh, I forgot my Cricut machine, guys, when we were talking about stuff. My Cricut machine is right here on my cutting table, which I can't use because my Cricut machine is on it. Yeah, I absolutely do not need another craft. So that block is done. And see, look, when all was said and done, that is the little piece we missed. That is, in the scheme of things, that is so inside the stitch line that you're never even going to see that I missed that tiny little chunk. Next trip to the US, I'm going to see about visiting that area. Speaking of visiting areas, I am going to Palau in September. I am so excited. I am not excited about the plane trip, but I am excited about visiting Palau. And if you don't know where Palau is, it's between Indonesia and the Philippines. Bella, I found out I have a half aunt and a half cousin from Newman via DNA because the half aunt wasn't sure. Oh. I have found out that I have so many cousins that it's unreal through doing my DNA stuff. Okay, so we're going to do that one next because it's only 2 pieces. Look at that one. That one has so many tiny, tiny, tiny little pieces. That one also only has 2 pieces. We're going to do that one too. Knock out the super easy ones. I'm going to go that way. All right. What happened to my little clippy? There it is. Put that over there. Okay. So let's knock out. Then we'll go this one, and this one. Grab another clip. if we have time, because we are right at the 40-minute mark, so we'll see. All right, so we're RA, HR, RA, and LM. Now, I don't believe we have enough RA to do those because this is what piece we have left. So now it might actually be time to start breaking into the RA that came with month 3. Now, there's enough to do that block or that corner, but not enough to do this one. So that'll knock out. This will definitely knock out that one. So that's that. But we are almost done, and I never even cut into this piece of fabric from month 3. So we will definitely have plenty when we go on to do other months. So let's see. We're just going to cut a little corner strip here from the corner. Let's bring it down. As I said, I just use this to like lightly outline it. I don't know where I was going with that. That's the first piece I have cut out of this whole piece that came for block 3. And we're down to the little pieces. So I have to finish laundry. Bye, Kelly. See you later. Thanks for stopping in. We're only going to be here for like 15 more minutes. Okay, so we need LM and HR. So HR, where did I see HR? So I don't have any real system here. I have scraps set up, and then there's HR. And then I have the pieces that I haven't cut into. So, I mean, it's a system that works for me. Now, I've seen other people that do legit kits, and they are super organized. This is how I do it, and it works for me. I have the pieces that are scraps set in certain areas, larger pieces here, pieces I haven't cut right to the back side. Let's see, to the right on the back, middle, and then the little pieces are to the left. It works for me. I cut everything up. I put small blocks to pin them. It works for my organization. I know that some people are super organized and have books and files, and that doesn't really work for the way my brain works. This works for me. So my advice, if you're doing one of these, do what works for you. Watch everybody that does these and pick what works for you. Nothing is set in stone. There are no FPP police. There are no legit kits police out there. Cranky Kangaroo Man, the way she cuts up her fabric and pins it all together, I wish I could be like that, but I would get confused cutting them all up and pinning them all together and going, okay, so this was, what color was this one? How did this go? So I cut mine as I go. Then there's other people that have them in files, and they take them out in the file, and they, yeah, no. This is me, organized chaos. It's how I work. And that's my little rant on my organization. Okay, let's see. We're going to fold that so that I can outline it. Get that right there. My solution of PP is just not doing it. Hey, whatever works for you. Okay, so not sewing. We are okay. I'm a little. I would love to visit Greenland too. Oh my goodness. I literally have so much on my bucket list to go do. It's unreal. Okay. Trim this out. I saw the Boozy Quilter, and she did this neat little trick, and I tried it, but I have a cheaper mat, and it doesn't work as well. She put her paper underneath and then cut up here, and I was like, oh, she just took her rotary cutter and went. That was pretty nifty. Now, my mat has too many scratches on it. I can't really see through it. I mean, you can. Some of the fabrics it works for, that one is not one you can see. But yeah, no, I was like, wow, that was pretty nifty. Okay, we're done with lime. We're going to put it away. Now, we have chartreuse, which is HR. And look at that. I believe that right there is going to work perfectly. So we are just going to, we're just going to cut this piece out right here. To an angle. Perfect. Okay. I want to see the active volcano in Iceland. Oh, that would be super cool. Have a good one, Lisa. Thanks for hanging out. I would love to see an active volcano as well. When we go to Palau, we are doing a layover in Tokyo. So I'm a little excited about that. Hopefully we can find some authentic cuisine at the airport, because, you know, we didn't think ahead and think that maybe we should go a day early and stay in Tokyo for a day. But on our way back, we have a layover in Honolulu, and I hope I can see like some volcanoes from, I mean, I would love to see some. So we have a layover in Honolulu. But, you know, like I said, if we thought a little bit of ahead, because I have a full 2 weeks and I have like 4 extra days. So we could have left early and come back a little bit later and spend a day in each of those places. Just, you know, nothing major. Done some sightseeing, would have been nice. But we know for next time. We discussed it, and he found a way to do it when you buy your tickets so that you can spend time in each place without being charged an arm and a leg. So, all right. We're going to we will probably get these 2 pieces finished, and then that will be it for today. So, okay, RA is first. Let's see. Let's trim up this odd corner. It's jacking with my brain. I wonder if there's going to be any quilt makers on any cruise ships that will come through here this summer. Ooh. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, so because there are just 2 colors, this is going to be relatively easy. Just make sure that each of these line up. And then voila. Go to town. Let's see. Grab it right online there. We'll see how well I did. Sometimes 2 pieces are harder than multiple pieces. Oh, look! Get our little acorn pressing pin here. Fold that over. Get some love on it. Ta-da! We can go ahead and trim that up right now because that's all we have for it. The one suggestion I make about trimming up, make sure all the pieces are folded out the way they're supposed to be and pressed, because if you start trimming and one of your pieces is folded wrong or isn't folded out or flattened out, you will trim a piece and be regretting it, because when you realize that it's not folded and you go, oh crap, and because if it's folded like this and you start trimming and then you look back at the block and go, oh man, you will have cut this whole piece off and have to redo it. It sucks. Yes, it does. So always make sure that your pieces are flat. Ta-da, that piece is done. Super easy. This one's super easy. And super flat. All right. We got enough time to do this last one. So this is a larger piece. So I'm going to take my in here. And we're just going to glue it down. I don't do a lot of gluing. That's about the only gluing I do, is that usually the first piece, especially with these smaller ones. Some of the ones that are in odd spots, the first piece, I will glue down. Now, this one has a little bit of an upward angle, so we're going to make sure that that will fold over and fit, and there we go. That is not really the same. There we go. Now we're even. I have noticed that doing this while on live is way slower than when I'm just doing it. Although I do talk to myself. Get the acorn pressing pin. That's why my husband, when I said I was going to start doing YouTube, he goes, might as well, you talk to yourself anyways, might as well be talking to somebody. So that's why I always joke that even if there was only one person in here, at least I'm talking to somebody besides myself. All right. I appreciate everybody for coming in. Hi, Denise. How are you? All right. So that one is done. All our little corners match up. I'm going to flip this bad boy around and we're going to trim it up and we'll pretty much be out of time. And so this, oops, let me get it right. This is almost enough piece for another section, if because you saw that there was that one that was like less than an 1/8 section. So we're going to keep that in case there are any sections that need that little block. We're not going to keep that. We are going to keep that one. Okay. So there's our block. And see how flat it is? That acorn pressing pin and that add a 1/8 is perfect. I'm telling you, it just makes the best flat blocks. All right. So there we go. And that is our little the couple of blocks that we did. So we have officially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 16 more little pieces to put together before we can connect the month 3 all together and add them to months 1 and 2. So the bottom down here is glass, and then it has a clear, oops, I turned it off. It has a clear self-healing mat on top, but the self-healing mat isn't really that good. It doesn't heal as well as, like, say, the other ones. Occasionally my rotary blade will get in a spot where it, yeah. Hi, Jamie. No worries. Thanks for stopping in. So yeah, the light box itself is glass, but the self-healing mat is clear. But it doesn't heal as well as it should. I mean, I have only used this for the legit kits that I started doing, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, those are all the cuts in it that aren't healing. So, so you can see it, you can see all the cuts on here. Those aren't healing like they're supposed to. But it was a relatively cheap mat on Amazon. I didn't go with the more expensive one because I didn't know I had a different setup under here when I started. I just had a light up underneath my So Steady board, and then this, my So Steady table, and then this, and then a friend loaned me the light box. Someday when I grow up, I'll get a bigger light box with a better cutting mat, but for now, this is what we can afford: a borrowed light box and a $9 cutting mat. Hey, it works. Until it doesn't, you know. It was $9. When I need to replace it, I'll replace it. And it works for the most part. Some of the bigger pieces don't quite fit on here, but it works. I need it more for the smaller pieces versus the bigger pieces anyways, so it's good. Well, guys, we are to the end of the hour. It is time for me to get ready for work. Ooh, we really don't want to go to work, but hey, work is how we afford to buy our fabrics. So work it is. I appreciate you all spending time with me. I know you can spend your time with anybody, and I appreciate that you spend your time with me. So go out there, find some gorgeous fabric, make some fabulous quilts. Try not to spend too much time with that divorce lawyer, and I will see you guys next week. You guys have a great and wonderful week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.